This segment is about adding content to slides. We're going to be going over adding components through icons, using text boxes, and creating and formatting tables. So we'll start by going into our new slide and choosing bullets. So when you choose bullets, it not only allows you to type in the bulleted area, but it also allows you to utilize your icons to insert certain functions. So we'll just go through them one at a time, one per slide. So tables, for example, if we want it to be 5 columns across, 10 rows down, we choose OK. At that point, we do have additional options. So if we look at the items here, we can see that we can look at all of the options. We can also choose only light options, only medium backgrounds, or only dark options. Obviously, the options that you choose would depend on if you are going to be printing, projecting, etc. So for example here, if we just wanted to go with a medium option, you'll see that this is shown what it would look like with our header rows selected and our banded rows. Now if we wanted to add a first column and we wanted to choose the medium option, you would see that this has the sidebar. If we take off the first column, go back to our medium options, you'll see that the sidebar is not there. Also, if you wanted to choose banded columns instead of banded rows, you can also do that. And if you wanted to stay in the medium theme again, you can see what that would look like. So it allows you to review all of your options at a glance with all of the tables available to you, or just the select grouping for consistency. And it allows you to much more easily work with the tables. And of course you can make additional modifications from that. So for example here, if you also wanted your first column to be bold, you could select that, come over here and apply your bold. So here we'll just copy all of this information here just so that you can see what it will actually look like. Then if we came over here and reapplied, oops, apparently I failed to paste in here. So then you can reapply as needed. You can also add a first column. You can also take off banded columns and use banded rows. You can have no columns or rows as far as banded. You can remove the first column. You can even remove the heading row. You can even go as far as removing your background if you wanted to on certain cells or on the entire area. So there is a tremendous amount of flexibility available to you. You can also change the grids. You can change the width of the grids. You can draw specific areas that you may want to emphasize. Change your pen colors for specific areas, etc. So if you wanted this to be a box, you could have a box around a specific cell for emphasis. You could also shade that specific cell for additional emphasis. And so there are many, many variables, and this can be used in any way that is appropriate for your needs. The next one we'll be going over would be the charts and graphs. So if you click on this icon, it will show you the default options based on how your PowerPoint template is set up. So for example, if you wanted a combo included, you could certainly do that, and you have different options within here to choose from, but we'll just go with the default for now, and then we can choose OK. From there, it allows us to add even more functionality, and we will be going over that in a subsequent segment. Next, we will be going over our SmartArt. So the SmartArt just allows you to take information and apply it in a formatted type manner. So for example here, if we wanted a circle process, we can select that, then we can type our text. And many of these do have a limit as far as how many you can add, but this will give you an idea. Conversely, if you wanted to type text, and you wanted to change it to a SmartArt, you can do that as well. So then you would just select your text, and then you would apply the SmartArt to it. So you would go to Insert, go to SmartArt, and then choose whatever item you may want. So for example, if you wanted to have this sort of process, you would simply apply it, and typically it does function properly. In this case, it did not. So if it does not occur the way that you had hoped it would, you can also copy from something that you have predefined and then simply paste it. So that will work as well. So sometimes it will work if you select it and apply. Other times you will need to copy and paste it in or manually do it. Another option with your SmartArt is if you double click on it, you have additional options. You can change the colors of the various items from solid colors to gradients of a color to colorful. You can also change the actual item without having to reformat. You also have sub areas within here that you can work with as well. So that is an overview of your SmartArt. Next, we will be going over pictures. So you can easily insert pictures as well. So for example, here we'll just insert a picture. And the way that the pictures are brought in is they are automatically brought in to fit within the parameters of the space provided. They will come in proportionally. So if it is a very tall picture, it will not exceed our 5-inch height. And if it is a wide picture but very short and the width is 11.53, your height may only be 2 inches in order for everything to come in proportionally. So just know that it will come in proportionally. So for example, if we instead wanted to bring in a tall picture, you would see that it would still come in at the max height of 5, but the width would only be 4.11 because it did come in proportionally. And it will come in center unless you designate otherwise. So that is just something to keep in mind. You can designate left to the slide, center, etc., or you can use your guides to place it where it should be. Next, we'll be going over online pictures. So you can take pictures from online as well. I'm just going to choose a summer background picture. Choose that and insert. You may not want to do online pictures unless it is approved images in a specific location, because there are certain ramifications for bringing in pictures that you do not have proof of purchase on or are not custom to your company. So please contact your management for the correct option for that. You can also insert a video. So if you have a video that you would like to use, for example, your company video, I do not have one, so I will substitute with mine. And then you would simply hit the play button, and you would see that you can just have a small video. I would not recommend a large video simply because videos can take up a significant amount of file size and could bog down the system if you are working with a less powerful computer. Next, we are going to be going over text boxes. I did touch on these in a previous video, but there are multiple ways in which to work with text boxes. For one, you can just select it and format it as you like. This is the default. So the default would be such as this, but you may want to make specific modifications to it. You may want it to fit exactly. So if you wanted to go to your format shape, you can go into here. You can designate your fill. You can designate your line. So if we wanted a solid line and we wanted it to be a thicker line, we can do that. We can also designate if we want it to be left, right, centered, etc. So we'll assume that this is in fact what we want. We don't want any space above or below. We want it to be really tight. Well, if we decide that this is what we want for this presentation as our primary, we can set that default text box. The benefit of that is every time you insert a new text box, whether it be the same shape or a different shape, it will retain all of those properties. So for example, if we now wanted to insert this option, I set as default text box. Okay, so that was my error. I apologize. I did not insert a text box. So then here you would just simply type as normal. And when it comes in, you will notice that your image will come in tiny because it is set up to fit exactly with the text. So you'll need to start typing in order to show that. And then you'll see that it will not go beyond the longest line. That is not the case here because we had not applied that portion of it. We had manually set this up. So that is why that behaved differently. But just keep that in mind, that if you want to do repetitive tasks, that is the most efficient way to work with text boxes. Thank you.